She get with your money. Gotta go for your money, money. We ain't no punk saying we want prenup. We want prenup. Yeah, it's something that you need to have. She gonna leave with half 18 years, 18 years, and on his 18th birthday found out it wasn't his. Now I ain't saying she a gold digger. She ain't messing with no broke. Oh. Let me go ahead and get into this show. What's up, guys and ladies? Welcome to another episode of Daddy Everyday podcast. We're talking child support today. But before I get into that, I got two quick stories about child support that opened my eyes to child support. So I never really heard of child support until my 20s. And I'm working for Delta at the time. And I'm working, and you can pick up everybody's shifts. You can work 1,000 hours at the time if you wanted to. And there was this one cat, every day, he would walk around asking people, you got a shift you want to give up? You got a shift you want to give up? Dude had to be working like 70 hours a week or something. And somebody asked, like, man, what you trying to do with all this money? And he was like, man, I got child support. He was trying to pay child support. And he said, if he just worked his shift, he ain't had no money to himself. So he was just picking up extra shifts so he can have some type of quality of life. I think he had like 5 kids or something. So child support was eating him up. I think he had some that was, through the system, and then some he was just paying himself and everything. So he was working crazy hours just to pay the child support. And then this other dude that I worked with, he was working 2 jobs. He was working Target and Home Depot, like both 8-hour shifts. Dude would just sleep on his lunch breaks. Sometimes he went from one to straight to the other. I worked at Target with him, and I would give him a lift home and stuff. Sometimes I even picked him up from Home Depot. I felt bad for him just to drive him right over to Target for him to work an overnight shift. So he was working both these jobs to keep up with child support. Now, he only had 1 kid, but his, for lack of a better term, baby mama was giving him hell because he was trying to balance. He wanted to, spend time with his kid, but she was using child support over his head and making him pay extra this month and all that stuff because it wasn't through the system, and he was trying to avoid going through the system. But the problem was it wasn't about the money. She still wanted to be with him. So she was using the child support and his visitations against him. And I didn't know much about child support. I would have just give him some type of advice. All I could do was be a listening ear. But he had rights. He was just scared to go through the system to fight for his rights. And we definitely going to get into that. Now, like I said, today's topic is about child support. Like always, I like to come up with a speech. I'm trying to work on writing speeches and stuff. So like when I'm giving keynote addresses and things like that, I got my skills up. So before I get into the top 20 things, it is a lot you need to know about child support before it gets started, during, all that other stuff. But let me go over my speech I prepared for you today. I want to address a topic that holds immense significance in our lives as parents, child support. As parents, we have a profound responsibility to provide for the well-being of our children, both emotionally and financially. Child support is not merely a legal obligation, but a vital commitment that impacts the lives of our little ones. So let us take a moment to discuss the importance of child support and the role it plays in our journey as fathers. First and foremost, child support is about ensuring the best interests of our children. It is a way to contribute to their upbringing, education, healthcare, and overall development. By providing financial support, we demonstrate our unwavering dedication to their well-being and happiness. Our children deserve every opportunity to thrive. Child support plays a significant role in making that a reality. Child support is not just a financial obligation. It is a responsibility deeply rooted in love and care. It is our duty to stand alongside our children, to be their pillars of strength, and to provide the necessary resources for their growth. By fulfilling our child support obligations, we show our children that they are cherished, supported, and loved. We must remember that child support goes beyond mere dollars and cents. It is an investment in our children's future. Through financial contributions, we provide them with stability and the means to pursue their dreams. We enable them to explore their talents, engage in extracurricular activities, and access the education they deserve. By fulfilling our child support obligations, we are empowering our children to reach their full potential. Moreover, child support is not a one-size-fits-all concept. It is determined based on various factors such as income, experience, and the need of our children. While the calculations may seem complex, it is important to understand that they are aimed to ensure fairness and equality. The goal is to provide a framework that considers the best interests of the child while taking into account each parent's circumstances. It is critical to approach child support with a right mindset. Open and respectful communication with the child's other parent is vital for the well-being of our children. By maintaining a positive co-parenting relationship, we can ensure that our children receive the support they need, both emotionally and financially. Sorry, I lost my place. All right. I want to emphasize that child support is not a burden or a punishment. It is an opportunity for us to make long-lasting impact on our child's lives. We have the power to shape their future, to guide them, to provide them with the tools they need to succeed. Our contributions, both financially and emotionally, foster a strong bond with our children and create cherished moments that will last a lifetime. In conclusion, dear fathers, let us embrace our role in supporting our children through child support. It is a responsibility that stems from love and a desire to see our children flourish. By fulfilling our obligations, we are nurturing their potential, empowering their dreams, and affirming our unwavering commitment as fathers. May we always remember that child support is not just a financial transaction. It is about love, dedication, and well-being of our children. Together, let us stand tall as fathers and provide the support that our children need and deserve. Now, that is not the reality that fathers that are struggling with child support are facing. That speech is what it should be in regards to our children and providing financial support to our children. That is the goal. Many fathers are not experiencing that. It is a struggle and battle for fathers that are in the child support system. Like the stories I mentioned, that fathers are struggling through, let's say, spiteful women or mothers. Some are justified, many are not. So I'm going to go over 20 things to empower fathers that are about to be put on child support or on child support, and things you need to know to, for lack of a better term, survive child support. All right. So now, it's a legal obligation for fathers to financially support their children, regardless of the relationship with the mother. Now, you need to go into there knowing that if you are the father, that you have a responsibility to your child, not just financially, but much like I said in my speech, emotionally. You need to be involved in your child's life. You have rights, and you definitely need to fight. So a lot of times we get fathers saying, she won't let me see my kid. You have rights. And as I go through this podcast, you will see there are ways for you to combat what the mother is doing to stop you from being a part of your child's life, regardless of how your standings are with your child support. The termination of child support. child support is determined by the state laws and guidelines. Now, every state is different, so there's no cookie cutter way of getting about it. You need to find out what the laws are in your state or maybe even your county, so that you are aware. So you can't just take advice from one person on child support if they're in another state. Every state is different and have different guidelines and laws pertaining to child support. Court order child support obviously is done through the court system. Now, I suggest that you try your best at working things out before it gets to that level. It's okay to, I know fathers that have allowed the state, but they partner with, like, whether it was a family law attorney, to have the government involved, but they were a part of that process. Whatever you do, do not just allow the mother and the system to put you on child support without you being involved. Because part of the child support system is about income disclosure. So you want to make sure that you have all your paperwork as far as the income you have coming in ready and available. Now, I suggest to all fathers that you, once again, partner with your significant other, or, well, once significant other, I should say, or baby mama. We're going to just use the term baby mama in this situation because a lot of this child support discussion is really based on negativity in the situation. There's not many situations that I've run across with working with fathers where it has been a 50-50 split, where everything is cool, like we're working as a team, because that's the mindset it should be, but in most cases is not. Child support itself seems like a negative thing, but it's really not. Much like in my speech, it's all about providing the resources for our children to allow them to have the future we want for them. But when relationships, especially when they turn sour, child support is definitely used as a weapon to hurt the father, basically. Now, there are situations where the father has custody, but you don't hear about those stories of the father weaponizing child support against mothers. So it tends to be mothers that use child support, weaponize child support, instead of just using it for what it's supposed to be, and that's just to support their children. And now, mind you, once again, every time a topic is discussed about mothers, they get real defensive. This is only pertaining to the ones that are weaponizing child support. So I say fathers should pay child support. So that's not my stance saying that fathers shouldn't pay child support. What I'm stating is that the mothers that use child support against fathers. Now, you have rights, like I discussed, to visit your child, and even as far as custody with your child. Do not shy away from going to court. Just have your things in order. Most of the fathers that I talk to that are put on child support never went to court. They never obtained the services of a family law attorney. So they allowed the system and the mother to put them on child support. And once that is in place, it is a hard battle to get off, or even to make arrangements. And once you're on there, you're held accountable. There's no excuses and things like that. Like right now, non-payment consequences. Now, failure to pay child support can result in various consequences. Possible consequences include short-term jail time, which you're still responsible for child support even while locked up. Garnishment of your wages, interception of your tax refunds. They can even seize your property and suspend your business or even driver's license. And even if they do all that, you're still responsible for your child support. Those are things that can be avoided by just obtaining the services of a law attorney. And I know one of the things is, man, that costs too much. we are able to come up with money for everything but the things that we need to take care of. It is definitely, in my opinion, more expensive to have child support just put upon you than it is to obtain a family law attorney. A lot of them offer free consultations, so you can get information on what do you need to be aware of, especially getting laws that pertain to your particular state and county. I can't stress enough, see a family attorney. Like I said, they give out free consultations. That is something that you can get all the information you need. Do not go at this alone. Do not allow them to just put you on child support. Unpaid child support can accumulate and not just be pursued by the mother, but the state. If that mother is on assistance, the state will come after you. Because a lot of times, if the mother is on assistance, the state will use child support to recoup money that they gave to the mother. So you have to think of it. It's not just the mother coming after you for child support. You can actually have the state coming after you because they need to recoup the money that they gave to her for assistance. So that's another reason why it's so important not to allow the state to put you on child support. They will definitely come after you. I had a father tell me about where the mother didn't even receive much of the child support. He was paying maybe $350 a month, and she received maybe $50. Like 300 of it was just going back to the state because they were trying to recoup the money that they gave to her to support her. So be aware of that. It's not just the mother coming after you for child support. The state themselves will come after that money because they'll feel like that's the money owed to them. It is important, let's say, if you had a baby with someone that you don't intend to make your wife, let's be real. I recommend having a test done, paternity test done, to ensure you're not caught up just like in Kanye West's song, and find out the kid isn't yours. Because once you sign paperwork to say the kid is yours, it doesn't matter if it comes back and the kid's not yours. You'll be on the hook for that child support. So be conscious of what you sign, what you agree to, because once you make an agreement of the kid is yours, that's your responsibility. It's your responsibility until they're 18. In some states, it's even 21. So you need to be caught up on whatever the laws are in your state, but you're on the hook for 18 years, possibly 21 years. And if she doesn't get with someone else and they adopt the kid, because just because she marries someone else, that kid is still your responsibility, unless that guy adopts the kid. Make sure you keep all your financial documentations. If you buy diapers for her, keep the receipts. Whatever you pay for summer camp, keep the receipts. This is even if you're on child support, keep your receipts. If you're not on child support, it's even more important that you keep your receipts on everything. I even say keep communication that you have with the mother. You keep that information documented. You make sure everything that you do with this with the mother is almost like it's a business type transaction, because you don't want to get caught where you think you're doing the right thing and she switched the tables on you. Now, obviously, if you're with the right mother, it doesn't have to be a me against her or her against me kind of thing, but you just have to know who you're dealing with. And for the most part, like a lot of the guys I talked to, they knew who they were dealing with. They knew the type of person she was. Now, it's rare when I hear fathers like, hey, she completely changed after the relationship ended. Most of the time, you know, if you're messing with a messy person, if things end, she's going to be messy. So you want to make sure that you keep all documentation of whatever you do for the kid and whatever agreements that you guys go into, make sure you have a third party there as well. Now, you want to keep open communication with the mother. Always be respectful. I know sometimes it's hard to bite your tongue, but if she has custody of a child, she definitely has upper hand on you. So you should definitely make sure that you keep open communication with her. Be respectful, especially if you're trying to see your kid. A lot of times, the guy doesn't want to have anything to do with the mom. And unfortunately, in some situations, nothing to do with the kid. So they just want to pay their child support and be done with it. I'm not a big fan of that because I think kids need to know their fathers, or it will be great to know their fathers, even if it's just for medical reasons. Like for me, I don't know my biological father. Like I had a father I grew up with, but I don't know my biological father. And it's not for the support, financial support or anything. I didn't need any of that growing up. Probably could have helped, but didn't need it. My issue, even present date, is I don't know the medical issues. Like it would be nice to know like what my family is like, his side of the family is like. So I am definitely a big component of dads just being in their kids' lives, even if it's just for that, just so that they'll know these are health concerns that you had. These are things that ran in the family. So I am definitely a big component of just being involved in your kid's life. Now we get down to where seek legal advice. Family attorneys for guidance, and they know the child support laws and stuff. You need to have that. And the biggest problem that we have, fathers feel the court systems aren't set up for fathers. And the reason why they're not set up for fathers is because we don't fight. Most of the time, if you talk to any dad that's on child support or court-ordered child support, most of them will say they didn't fight. They don't know. They didn't even go to court. Or if they went to court, they didn't go prepared. So the mom was able to dictate everything because courts are going to side with the custodian parent for the most part. They want to make sure the kid is taken care of. So you need to make sure you go to court prepared. Like I said, proof of payments, make sure checks, don't ever do cash. Don't ever do cash. Always do either money order, checks. Electronic payments are big right now. That way you can keep, as they say, the receipts to everything that you're dealing with as far as child payments. Now, this is new to me and something fairly new, I'm sure, in the industry is there's co-parenting apps. So I checked a couple of out while doing research for this topic, and they are amazing. Like everything I'm discussing as far as keeping track of kid-related expenses, communications with the parents. There are even calendars in it that you can work directly through. So if you're dealing with a mother that is unreasonable and you really can't communicate with, use the app to do all your communication. So it keeps a log of everything that's involved with that mother. So that way you can have the documentations for everything that you were involved with that mother. In this way, like you can go to court and defend yourself. So it's not like I said, they tend to side with the custodian parent, which most times is the mother. And if you're battling with that and you want visitations, if you're communicating using the app, it would have the communications of how you guys are interacting, and it can show where you're trying to be reasonable, you're trying to be supportive as far as her raising your child, but it also will show how she is towards trying to make this a smooth transition as far as raising the child. So I definitely say check out the apps. There's several of them on the market. I say just check out the one that best fits you, and most of them are free. So there's no cost involved in that. And it's a great way to keep your documentations in order. Let's say you're having financial hardships. If you're experiencing financial difficulties, it's important to address the situation legally by seeking a modification rather than simply decreasing payments. you are entitled to go to the court system and say, hey, I lost my job or they decreased my hours. You should immediately try going to the courts to try to see if you can get a modification of your child support. Don't let it linger and then just text her or call her to say, hey, I just got laid off from my job or they reduced my hours. That does not cancel out your financial obligation, especially if it's done through the court system. You are still on the hook for that money. And like I said, if the courts are using your money to recoup, they're not, you just saying, hey, I lost my job, it's not enough. You need to go and do it legally and go to the courthouse to see if you can get a modification. And they say courts aren't reasonable. A lot of times the fathers just aren't doing it right. It's not about just calling. You need to really physically go down there. A lot of times the people who are working down there in the courthouse, especially via phone, aren't the most helpful. You need to go down there and fight. And if you're not getting the answers that you want to, actually speak to a supervisor. The fathers feel like we play victim a lot of times with when it comes to the court system as far as child support. And some of it's warranted. I give you that. But a lot of times it's because we're not prepared. We don't know the right questions to ask. Anything that's dealing with your money, your children, you should ask lots of questions. It's like when you take your kid to the doctor, ask lots of questions. We're not medical experts, and we're going to be with our kid most of the time. We should be asking, tons of questions to the doctor to be aware of what's going on with our child. Same thing when it comes to the court system. We should be asking questions. If you're there in court, even if you don't have legal representation, you should be asking questions. Why is this? Why is that? Ask questions about your visitational rights. Ask questions about custody. I even challenge you, if you're in a situation where you could have custody of your kid or parenting in that sense, go for that. That'll definitely reduce your child support obligations if you're raising your kid as well. A lot of fathers just throw their hands up and just give it to the court systems or to the mom like she's raising them, and I'll just pay child support. That's not the mindset, in my opinion, to have, because you're putting yourself in a financial bind, and then it's harder to see your child depending upon the type of mother that you're dealing with. So it is your responsibility to champion you. The court system doesn't care about you. They only care about the child. They don't really care about the mother per se. The mother's benefiting because of the child. Ask lots of questions. You have rights. I can't stress that enough. You have rights, because a lot of fathers feel so defeated when it comes to the court system, family court in particular. You have rights. Talk to family attorneys. Research, because not knowing is not an excuse. There are fathers who've been put on child support and had no idea that they were going to be put on child support. You kind of just have the child with the mother, you go your separate ways, and you think that's that. That's not that. The mother's not going to struggle just because you choose not to be in her life. Now, this part may seem like I'm championing mothers, but I'm just being real. It definitely takes two to make a baby. And I think it takes two to raise a baby. So if it's all on the mother, she has every right to put you on child support. That's the part where you come in as far as like, hey, this is not working out between us. I still want to make sure the kid is taken care of. Here's what I can do. And if she agrees to that, you guys make sure you get it in writing. You get to that, go down to a family attorney to have that put in writing. To make sure this is our agreement. Because then if she decides to get bitter or wants to change, she has to go through the court system herself. It's not like she can just change it on you. That's why a verbal agreement would not just work. That's not good enough right there. You definitely need it in writing. You definitely need a third party involved to make sure this is a legal binding agreement. And definitely ain't nobody gonna feel sorry for you catching hell because of child support. So just get your ish together. Definitely make sure you are doing the things financially to keep yourself right, to keep your legal obligations for your child right. Now, if you're put on child support, your job gets involved and they're aware of that. I had a father tell me that he got in trouble from his job and he wound up getting like $6, $7 taken out his check because he had his wages were being garnished from a company. So that is something that his HR had to deal with. Then he had child support coming out for 3 different mothers. So of course, HR has to deal with that because it's not like it's like taxes is just automatically deducted. Your job has to go in and make those deductions from your check. And then if it's too much where they're on a clock, like they're your personal accountant, you'll get fined. So this dad had like $6 or $7 deducted from his check because he had several child support payments, and then his wages were being garnished for like a bad loan or something, or a loan he let go bad on, which is tend to be how we get into these situations like child support and things like that. It was just not taking care of business, not properly communicating, not knowing our rights and everything. We kind of just let things go and just take it on the chin when it happens. Like, just know what you're responsible for, know your obligations, know your rights, and fight. We can change the way the court system is if we were to fight. Fathers join together. There are some fathers that are doing right that are catching hell in the court system, but he's viewed the same as the ones that not doing right. Like we're all painted the same. And I can say one thing about when it comes to family law and in the court system and child support, it ain't about just black. Every father is catching hell, no matter the race, when it comes to child support. When you don't go into it prepared, you don't ask questions, you don't legal up and get a lawyer. You allow time to pass, not taking care of your obligations. And when you let child support back up, it don't matter your race. They're coming for the money, and you get your license taken, you can get thrown in jail, and all that while you're still responsible. Losing your license, you can lose your job. You lose your license, you can't drive to work and wind up losing your job, and they're going to still come for their money as if you still have a job. So make sure you're just taking care of business. If there's nothing else you get from this, make sure you get an attorney. Make sure you know your legal rights. Ask your attorney 1,000 questions, especially you get that free consultation. Make sure you ask 1,000 questions on everything that you can think of, every situation or scenario that comes to mind as far as dealing with the mother that you're dealing with. Make sure you are aware of the legitimacy of the child as far as is it yours or not. And this is, of course, if you're dealing with someone that you're not going to be in a relationship with. I think it doesn't sit well if you're married and you have a paternity test, but for some, depending upon who you're dealing with, maybe that might be the right situation. But that is all I have for you guys as far as this episode of the Daddy Everyday podcast. My goal is to actually have a family law attorney in. So email me at info@daddyeveryday.org with your questions that you would like to personally ask a family law attorney. I know that I can't think of scenarios that you're in. You're actually living it. So definitely ask those, send me those questions so I can ask the family law attorney directly on your particular situation. You don't have to disclose your name or anything, but if you send me those questions, I can ask the attorney myself as far as what you're dealing with. And I'm just going over my notes. I want to make sure I didn't leave anything out because it's a lot to deal with in when it comes to child support, but it doesn't have to be an uphill battle. Like I said, you let time go by and you just let the child support build up, and you're not actively involved in trying to resolve the child support issues, that's when fathers get in trouble. And that's when you'll wind up like my man at Delta, who probably still to this day taking extra shifts and everything to help pay child support. No, that's probably like, yeah, depending on the age of the kids, he still could be going through that, because 18 years and 21 in some states that I learned, you can be up to 21 and still paying child support. And you can not even have a relationship. So imagine having your wages garnished, and you don't even have a relationship with the child. And that's a tough situation. And I hate to see it for fathers that really want to be involved in their kids' lives. So those are the fathers I definitely want to email me. Give me your questions. And if I can get them answered before the podcast, I will shoot you an email or something just to get those questions answered, because I want to see fathers that really want to do right in their kids' lives, get all the advantages they can get to do right in their child's life. But that's all I have for you guys. Thank you for tuning in. All the information on the Daddy Everyday podcast will be in the show notes. And until next time, you guys be well. One challenge for the fathers out there, know your rights. I say do some research right now. If you're on child support, do some research right now. Like your current situation, do some research on questions you may have about child support. And for the fathers that are fighting for their rights to see their kids, but they're battling with child support, get at me. I know there's communities out there that I can link you up with that I want to learn myself to help better support fathers that are really fighting for the right to see their kids. We join together, we can make some change in the court systems as far as child support and family law overall when it comes to like visitation and things like that. Because a lot of times fathers don't have the visitation they want, even if they're paying child support on time and doing the extra stuff like paying for daycare beyond child support. The mothers have rights, but fathers have equal rights to mothers. So it's one of those things that us joining together and actually putting up a fight and showing that we're not going to just take whatever the system gives us. So with that said, I'm out. You guys be safe, be well, and I'll catch you on the next episode of Daddy Everyday Podcast.